Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, we are going to present about explanation text. Before we go to the presentation, we are going to introduce ourselves. My name is Adhika Mazaya F.
My name is Ditra Rizqa A.
And my name is Bangkit D.
Okay, now let's get right into it. Chapter 1, Introduction. Next, okay. The background. The background of the paper, explanation text is a text that contains the process of why and how a natural, scientific, social, cultural, and other event can occur. Natural and social events that occur around us always have a relationship of cause and effect. Through explanation text, every event that occurs around us is not only observed and felt, but also used as learning. In the characteristics of an explanation text, the information that exists contains facts and is based on empirical experience and scientific explanation, so that it can be trusted to understand a process or cause and effect of natural events. Explanation text explains the process of a phenomenon, natural phenomenon, and social phenomenon. Typically, a topic that describes an internal phenomenon, mass media, one of which is in the form of a news article published in a letter news. News articles in newspapers also have a form of structural filler text, including explanation text containing the function or lingual unit of structure. Understanding of a text is emphasized to the reader, so that the reader able to understand the meaning contained in a text, both oral or written. Therefore, in making explanation text, you must pay attention to the structure, rules, and characteristics of the explanation text so that you can make it properly and correctly. Okay, next. We have purpose. So, the purpose of this research is to deepen the knowledge of explanation text and understand it starting from its definition, function, structure, and language features. This is done so that we are not misinformed about the explanation text and can differ the explanation text from the procedural text and the descriptive text. Okay, next. We got problem formulation. Based on the background description, we got 5 problems. Number 1, what is explanation text? Number 2, what is the purpose of explanation text? Number 3, what are the structure of explanation text? Number 4, what are the language features that are used in explanation text? And the last one, number 5, how to differ explanation text to procedural text and descriptive text. That's from me. Thank you.
Now we arrive in chapter 2, theory and discussion. Next. The definition of explanation text. Explanation text is such a scientific written material. It explains how certain phenomenon or events could happen, and it usually oftenly found on textbooks and like geography, science, or even historical books. For examples, how a tornado form, how tsunami works are the best example of explanation text. Next. The function of explanation text is to explain why a certain phenomenon or event could happen based on logical reason to support the arguments. And it is about actions rather than about the description of the main subject. Explanations play a valuable role on building and storing informations and knowledge. Technical and scientific writing are often expressed in this form of text. Next. The structure of explanation text. Explanation texts have 3 main components: general statements, sequence of explanation, and concluding statement. General statement is in the first paragraph. It introduces and identifies the main subject. It also gives the audience a better image or a brief introduction on the subject that is going to be discussed. And then the sequence of explanation is a sequence paragraphs explain why or how something happens rather than focusing on an object. Events may be related on time or place, or maybe even both, and they should be detailed and accurate. And the last one is concluding statement. This is located in the last paragraph. It usually includes some interesting comments, evaluations, solutions, or even just a summary of the text. But this one is also optional. Next.
Okay, now I want to talk about language features. Number one, usually the subject is not human. For example, this text explains something about a natural phenomenon such as mountains, rain, etc. Number two, using general and abstract nouns such as word chopping and earthquakes. And the next one is this type of text using present tense and passive voice, also using action verbs to explain cause. And the next one, this text is using conjunction of time and cost, such as first and then, to sequence and link the events, and also to keep the text flowing. And the last one, this type of text using technical terms. For the example, is like spider falls into the family of arachnids. And now I want to talk about the differences between explanation text, procedure, and descriptive text. The first one is the definition. We look at the definition of the explanation text. The explanation text is text that explain how certain phenomena happen, and procedure text is that the text that gives instruction. On the other hand, descriptive text is the text that describes about particular things, person, or places. And the purpose of explanation text is to explain how the certain phenomenon or events happen. The procedure text is to instruct the reader on how to do something. And the descriptive text is the text that is to describe a subject. Okay, now the structure. Explanation text has three structure: general statement, explanation, and conclusion. The procedure text also has three structures: aim or goal, and then materials, and the last one is steps. The other hand, the descriptive has only two structures: identification and description. And now the last one is language features. This three type of text has a similar language of features, but the difference between them are, if we see an explanation text, this type of text is using general and abstract pronouns, and also using an action verbs and a passive voice. On the procedure text, this text is using an imperative sentences and also a connectives or adverbials. And the last one, the descriptive text, just focus on a specific participant and describing about something. And the next, conclusion. So the conclusion is explanation text contain why or how certain events happen, and it focuses on action rather than description, and it purpose to explain why certain event happen based on valid data. And this explanation text often found in science, geography, and historic textbooks. Okay, that's all from us. Sorry if there are any words that are less pleasing to you, and thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum
Assalamualaikum
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.